Forget the money.
Yeah.
You're actually imprisoned in a terrible relationship because
Yes.
you don't have self-worth,
Yep.
because you don't think you're deserving of the best.
I'll have what she's having.
Welcome to another edition of
She Talks Confidence
Podcast.
Welcome back. This is Tony. This is the She Talks Confidence podcast. And another amazing guest, Jane Harris, is here. Jane, how are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you, Tony, for having me.
The origin story I always start off with, it provides inspiration. It shows that women can get through these hurdles and succeed regardless of all the stuff you have to deal with, more so than men. And we've already discussed that and talked about that. You started off with $500 and you decided to start your own company, and it's wigs, right? You
Yes.
have created wigs.
I am very excited to be here. This story is not one that when I was experiencing it, I didn't think I would have to talk about it. And that's what's so great about taking a chance on yourself. You're not there thinking, oh, one day I'm going to inspire someone. You're just busy trying to inspire yourself. I am an immigrant from Nigeria. And when I graduated from college, I wanted to be able to take care of myself. So I started working at this shoe store. And I ended up working at this shoe store for 13 years. I started off as a part-time employee, working part-time, and I did so well with commission sales. I got an offer to run their flagship store in New York. I was
wow.
making maybe 45, 50,000 a year with that was a lot of money for an 18-year-old. I was excited. Are you kidding me? I was
Man,
making
that's
it
a
any of my friends.
lot of pocket cash
It
when
was
you're
a lot of money.
18, right? Yeah.
Exactly. But they didn't hand me that money. I was really good at
Yeah.
selling shoes. So my boss is, I need you to move to New York. I'm like, okay, I'll pay you $75,000 a year. Please put me on the next flight. So I was in New York, and then I ended up staying there for, I think it was my 9th year then. I felt like I had done so much. I was at 125,000 at this point with commission and everything else. I was doing pretty decent, not great. Decent. 125,000 in New York is broke, to be honest with you. After taxes.
New York is rough. Yeah.
So I was dealing with wanting to do something different and wanting to build a business. And then I remember looking in the mirror one day. I'm like, if I only had more hair. I just feel like my hair wasn't up to par with my personality because I'm very outgoing. But every time I would look in the mirror, I started experimenting with wigs. And I remember looking into a company that made wigs, and it was so impersonal. It was like, first of all, I was already embarrassed that I had to be there. I felt uncomfortable talking about my hair needs. And then the person who came, it was an expensive wig store. Their wigs were like $4,000 minimum. So I'm like, I expected a certain level of service, but it wasn't them. I felt like I was being served by someone who hadn't had hair loss. So they didn't understand how I was feeling. I needed someone to be more personal and understanding with me, pull me to the side and tell me it was going to be okay. So I didn't get that. So I was like, I was like, because I was already in commission sales. So I understood how much money you could make by taking care of people. I was like, oh my God, if I combine my skill of taking care of people with this wig business as a multi-billion-dollar business, I could really make a lot of money. And that was the beginning. But the problem was I didn't know how to make wigs. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even go to hair school. So I went on YouTube and I started researching on YouTube, and I made my first terrible wig. And that was the beginning of a journey of not wanting to stop till I got it right. And till this day, I still haven't made it to hair school, but I've gone to hair school to teach and encourage others to do what I've been doing. That brings me back to 125,000 a year in New York, but still broke. I didn't even have the seed money. So I decided to borrow money from my boyfriend at the time. And he thought I was crazy. He's like, you don't even know anything about hair, really. Well, I said, this is for me to just test out. He gave me the $500. And 3 years later, we were able to take that 500 and we made our first million with no funds, no loans, nothing. Just literally from that 500, we grew it to $1 million within 2.5, 3 years.
Wow. Now, did you know anything about marketing? Did you know anything about getting your products together, the labor involved? Was that all learn as you go?
One thing I knew how to do really well was service. I knew how to make women feel good. I tested it because when I started working at the shoe store, remember I was an immigrant. I had no previous experience.
Right.
But I realized that when I would give my clients a compliment or just tell them that the shoe looked bad on them when it did, they would cling to me more. Like they just wanted someone to be honest, kind, and sweet. I remember when my clients would cough, I'll bring them water. A lot of the salespeople didn't do that. Like I took that extra care, and because of that, I made the most money on the sales floor.
Mhm.
So I knew how to take care of clients, and I saw how it rewarded me. But in terms of marketing, I went to college for marketing, but honestly, nothing that I learned in college prepared me for grassroots marketing,
Right.
which is what I needed to grow a $500 investment into
Yeah.
$1 million. So
Yeah.
I had to learn it as I go. I made a lot of mistakes. You know how it goes. So yeah,
Wow. Did you have kids at the time, or was that
not yet.
so you started off in your grassroots and you're learning everything as you go. How did you keep your momentum going? How did you keep the goal in sight, so to speak, the motivation to keep going?
I got married to that man that loaned me the $500
Mm.
and I had a baby. And I remember my daughter was maybe 2 months old and I had told my boss that I was done because I had made my yearly salary at the time. So I had hit
Mhm.
100,000 at the time. I was like, I'm making this within 6 months. Who knows what I could
Mhm.
do? So I saw momentum. And there were times where I hit a roadblock. What motivated me was I did not want to go back and ask for my job back.
Oh.
I just kept reminding myself of why I wanted to leave to begin with. And I'm
Mhm.
like, this has to work. This can't fail. There was no plan B. And I think because I remember with my old boss, he's amazing. Till this day, he's one of my good friends. He was like, Jane, whenever you want to come back, I got you. You always have a job with me. But I remember saying in that moment, as soon as he said it, I'm like, I will never need a job. I'll partner with you on training your team to be as
Mhm.
good as I was, but
Mhm.
I'm never going to need to get my old job back. And I remember saying that and saying, as soon as I say it, I can't take it back. So I
Right.
can never go back. So
Right.
when things got really hard, and honestly, they did, I'm talking close to bankruptcy, stressed out, no sales. I will remember when I said that to my boss and look at my kids' eyes like, oh gosh, I cannot sell. Like, I can't go back. So that would automatically help me move forward to the next step.
And when that did create the motivation for you to continue forward, what were the steps that you took out of that? What were the proactive steps to continue to move and continue to grow throughout building this business?
Reading.
Mm.
I found confidence and help and motivation. Like sometimes as entrepreneurs, we just need that breath. It's almost like you need like a lifeline to get to the
Yeah.
next day.
True.
Because a lot of us are a contract away from getting back on our feet. Like
Yeah.
literally, one client can change your life. I've been
Mhm.
in situations where I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I
Mm.
going to make payroll? And then this
Yeah.
client is, I need 6 wigs. Oh boy, we just made payroll. A lot of us just need the next breath of salvation almost. Like you just need, you know how you're starving, you just need a little bit. And some of us don't know, we don't have the tools to get to the next step. So my process is I read The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. I have to read that book. Whenever I'm stressed out, I'm going through a tough financial situation, everything is closing down on me. I go and read the chapter 10. It is your right to be rich. What that does for my brain, it wakes up the reason why I started doing what I was doing to begin with. It
Yes.
reminds me of those days that I had a $30,000 sale. It reminds me of the days I remember when we hit 1 million. It reminds me of the days where we started with 500. And so it reminds me of the fruitfulness of my business and not to weigh it based on the lack that I'm seeing now. So
Yeah.
that is just a chapter. I literally need read a paragraph and I'm like, I'm ready. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
That's it.
But it's true,
So
right? Because it's
yeah.
the I'm a quantum physics guy. My part of my PhD was in that. And so it's a vibration and it's frequency and it's raising your level up. It's manifestation is what it is. Do you believe in that? Do you believe in manifestation and seeing
Absolutely.
potentiality? Yeah. It makes a big
Yes,
difference, doesn't it?
it does because when you expect great things,
Yeah.
it opens your mind up to possibilities like, wait a minute, I need to email that client that spent $4,000. It's been 3 months. Maybe she needs something else. But when
Yeah.
you are not expecting great things, you close down on possible opportunities for you to
Yes.
make more money. And
Yeah.
as the CEO of any business, you almost have to be really delusional sometimes and see past your current
Sometimes a lot.
circumstance. A lot. I
Right.
mean, let's
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
honest, right? I live in Delululand. I am the
You're right.
president of Delululand.
Yeah. No, I
So
get
you,
it. You do,
yeah,
especially as an entrepreneur. I find it interesting. It doesn't have to be a woman or it could be a man too, but entrepreneurship is really interesting because you really battle with trying to expand and at the same time trying to fulfill that lower level of the basic needs. So when you try to do that puts you in fear, but at the same time, you have to look for expansion and you have to look for abundance and you have to dial your mindset into that. At the same time, you're saying, how do I put food on the table, especially if you have kids like you did? And I see some people that are dialed into it and some people that just aren't. And it's okay if people want to give it a shot and then it doesn't work for you, that's fine. But I do speak to a lot of women that are entrepreneurs that even if they're not yet, I can tell that they want to be, and that's where they're going to go because they have their voice. They need to express their own unique voice, just like you did. And I find it fascinating that you did it with a need that you had. It wasn't necessarily a skill that you had at the time, but it was a need that you had at the time, and you understood the value of it. And then especially the value of hair with women. And I'd like to share my own story here where I found this out firsthand. My daughter had AML. She had leukemia about 7 years ago, 2019. So 7 years ago. And it was pretty rough. And when it came time for her to do her chemo, that's when her hair was going to fall out. And she was always had her long hair, and that was a thing with her. And at the beginning, it's this, okay, my hair is going to fall. This is her saying, "Oh, my hair's going to fall out, and it's going to be okay." Come the day that this has to happen, actually, she had a bunch of her friends in the room, and I was the one who helped her to shave it because she wanted me to, and it was devastating to her, way more than she thought it was going to be because her hair was a part of her identity. And this is only speaking from a man's point of view or my own point of view as a man. Mine is, but it's not. It is, and if I have a bad hair day, it's oh, I got a bad hair day. But overall, I've had buzz cuts and stuff. It's not that big of a deal to me. But with women, it is. And I think looking into that and looking how much women's hair impacts how they feel about themselves and their identity and them being feminine and them being a woman. I think it's so very important. And that's why I think what you're doing is fantastic. How do you see your mission? And did you take that into consideration when you started this, understanding how important it is with women? And where do you want to go with it?
For me, it started from a personal experience. I was working at the shoe store, and I know my appearance made me more money because of how I looked, because I was
Mhm.
selling to some affluent women on Madison Avenue. So I bought the suit, I bought the shoes, I did my brows, I did everything I could. But for some reason, I felt like the hair was lacking. It didn't match the whole aesthetic of how I was feeling.
Mhm.
And that's why I was seeking that assistance with my hairstyle. And I remember when I made the wig that I fell in love with, that gave me the confidence that I wanted, Tony, my sales doubled.
Yeah.
I was running circles around my client. And that's when I understood the power of feeling my best. I was
Mhm.
like, wait a minute. Like I was coming to the sales floor like, ma'am, you need that. You should get 2 colors. When I normally want to say that. And you're like, oh, Jane, you know what? You're right. I literally doubled my sales just because I felt better. I felt, oh, yes, I have arrived. And a
Yep.
lot of women
Yep.
lack that. So for me, when I serve my clients, I put that into consideration every single time. That's why I offer the services I've been able to create around my company, which I think that's why we've lasted 15
Mhm.
years because I cater to that client that needs to feel good. I offer FaceTime consultations. I give
Mhm.
them a buyback guarantee. I do lives almost every day just to make the process effortless. I take on and off my wig on camera just so they can feel comfortable. Whoever's
Mhm.
going through hair loss. I have clients that email me. They're like, Jean, I see you bald and you're just as confident with the wigs. I was like, it's on purpose.
Yeah.
It's intentional. I
Uh-huh.
want you to know that even if I am trying to sell you this beautiful wig, I still want you to be confident beyond the wig. The wig is just a tool to
Yes.
get you comfortable.
Mhm.
And so I have used that experience and woven it into the experience that I want my clients to feel. And it has worked for me and it's amazing. We built a community around that.
I just think that's fantastic. I think that brings up a really good point. And the point is that there's a lot of talk about aesthetics and external reinforcement from how you look or you thinking you have to look, not you personally, right? But you as a person having to look a certain way because of social media or because of the social norms that are around. That's never going to go away, and that's been around since forever, once people started
Yes,
realizing how they were communities. However, I also think it's extremely important, and I think it makes a lot of sense that there are certain things about you that when you do operate at maximum levels, at have the hair just the right way, are able to do your walk every morning, are making good choices in terms of what you're eating, and you're noticing that you feel good, you look good, everything aligns. I don't think that should be discounted at all. I don't think that's one dimensional at all because everybody seems to think it's an either or. It's an either you identify yourself as what you look like or you identify yourself as how you feel. And if you have inner confidence, it doesn't matter what you look like. But I just think that's a little short sighted. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree with you. I tell my clients that I want you to take more of a holistic approach
Yeah.
to your confidence journey. I literally just did a live on Instagram wearing my martial art, telling them what I had just done on purpose because I don't want you to just see the joy in me. Oh, she's so happy all the time. I want to tell you why I'm happy all the time.
Yeah.
I am able to take off my wig and I work out. I eat healthy. I've been a vegan for 9 years. So I share my journey. I call it my beauty hack. It's not, the wig is just one of the tools that I use,
Yeah.
but there's other things that make me happy. And I tell my clients, I want you to seek more of a holistic approach to being more confident because you can have the wig. And if you're not taking care of your health, and you can't, that becomes another problem. I tell my clients that when you do your part and we add the wig to what you're doing, it makes everything better. The wig cannot be the only tool. You can't just look good on the outside. You have to look good. It, like you said, it's not an either or. It is all of it.
Yes.
It is a
Yeah.
little bit of this, a little bit of that, all of it. And we can achieve all of it.
Oh, absolutely. And
So
and
I,
and continuing day after day. I find it interesting, and I don't know if you've seen this as well. A lot of women, they'll use something like this, a self-improvement, whether it be plumping lips or a Botox or wigs. Then they'll move the carrot on themselves, thinking that, okay, if I just get the hair or if I just get the lips, then everything's going to be great and everything's fine. But then once that happens, then they pivot to something else that they're not happy with. Have you had that experience with women with their hair? And how do you go about coaching the women through this being one aspect like you have talked about and not the whole thing?
you know what? That's a good question. I show them. I show them. I think women connect with other women. Nobody wants to be told what to do. And women connect with other women who are walking the walk. Because
Mhm.
when I put on my makeup and I'm glammed up with lashes, I am overboard. Like I go overboard. And then to see this same girl with pounds of makeup, lashes, and all of that, and I turn around and I say, look at me, no makeup, and I am just as confident. Is to me, that is a much better approach than convincing them. And then after I do a live discussing the journey, and then I also talking to them about spiritually, I'm like, you have the look, you have the aesthetics, and you're working out, but how is your mental?
Mhm.
I remember one season, I read The Power of the Subconscious Mind. We read one chapter every couple of weeks, and I did a live 6 a.m. every day until like we were done with the book. And a lot of my clients follow the journey, and they're like, what does this have to do with hair? I was like, everything. It
Everything.
has
Yeah.
everything to do
Yeah.
because my job is not just to put a wig on your head. I said, you don't
Mhm.
understand. Like, my job is to make you feel good, period.
Mhm.
And those clients became lifetime clients because they're coming to me now because they're like, Jamie, it's so much more than hair we get from you. So I didn't even realize that it built my credibility. It brought a lot of clients into awareness because they're like, oh, I just want to get the wig. I'm like, we need to know what's underneath the wig. What's going
Right.
on in that head? Like,
Right.
how do you feel? What's really happening? When you take off the wig, how are you feeling? So I ask those questions. I do live sessions. But more than anything, I read with them because I'm not an expert. I'm not a psychologist. So I get those books that have helped me psychologically, spiritually, mentally, and I read the books. I've read 5 or 6 books with my audience. These are like my life-changing books. Another book that I read with them is The 48 Laws of Power, which was
Mhm.
amazing. I
Mhm.
read that with them, and we've read The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Just
Oh,
getting
yeah.
their minds equipped because we don't realize, oh, it's just hair, it's just beauty. I need you to walk outside that door and be ready to take on whatever life has to offer.
I
So
love
yeah.
that. Isn't that the key to any success? It comes down
I
to the relationship and the caring. If you want to create a commodity, you can create a commodity. You can create mayonnaise or widgets or whatever you want to do. But as an entrepreneur and starting out and as a woman and understanding the specific needs of a woman like you did, and it not just being about that, but it's about being about contributing to an overall success story. And I just love that. And that's exactly what it is. I've gotten some feedback from younger clients that I've had. They're just starting out on their journey and they have mentors and they talk to them or they see shows like this with women like yourself that are in positions of success because you've walked the walk and you've done it over the years. And they say they can be confident because they're successful. Because, okay, mind you, they don't get it yet. So they're successful and that's why they're confident. If a young woman came to you and said that to you, what would your reaction be?
I've had that question before. I was not always my confident self. I would walk into a room with my head down because I didn't want to give eye contact. But I was working on being the best version of myself. I expected it. I wanted it. I knew I needed it. I saw women that were confident and I just loved how they carried themselves. So what I did was I didn't have a mentor at the time. I found a book.
Mm.
I was like, okay, so they're confident and they wrote a book. So let me just read it. And it was in those chapters I started seeing how important it was to be the best version of yourself. And I remember when one of my clients came in, she's a wealthy real estate lady, and she was like, Jane, I need you to run her estate because she loved how I gave her service in the shoe store. She was going to recruit me from the shoe store. But I was
Mhm.
so insecure that I was like, I don't deserve this position. This is too big. It's too large. I literally turned down money because I felt that like I wasn't qualified. I don't know where my life would have been if I went with her. But I tell my clients and I tell my students all the time, it is too costly to be insecure. Having confidence is a skill that needs to be acquired. It doesn't always fall on your lap. Now, some people have it naturally. And if you don't, quickly be on the journey of acquiring the skill of confidence. That's just what it is. It will help you in every aspect of your business, of your personal life, everything.
I could not agree more. That's a total mic drop. I want to finish with this. N- Understanding that thought, understanding that goal, what would be someone's first step?
You need to read a book that talks about self-worth. You need to read you literally any book that you can get that talks about yourself being worthy. Because when you see yourself as
Mhm.
worthy of the best, it builds your confidence. Like really taking the time to study. You can go on the App Store. What are the top 5 confidence books, self-confidence books that are out there? Pick one and study it and keep reading it until you build that momentum and start feeling like you are worthy of everything else around you. Because another thing that really changed me was when I was insecure and I wasn't confident in myself, I dated the wrong guys.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Oh, that happens. Oh,
I
yeah.
dated forget the money. You
Yeah.
have to be in prison in a terrible relationship because
Yes.
you don't have self-worth,
Yep.
because you don't think you're deserving of the best.
Yep.
Like it's very costly to be insecure. It is costly. I am a homeschool mom of 3 children.
Mm.
And the one thing that I preach to my kids, I'm like, okay, the math is great, the English. I need you to be confident in yourself. It is the biggest thing, one of the greatest skill that you can acquire. So read everything
Mm.
about self-confidence and self-love,
Mhm.
everything
Everything.
until you feel it.
Yeah, exactly, including my book, Surrounded by Idiots. Go ahead. Pick it up somewhere, read it.
I,
It's around, right?
oh,
Yeah.
it-
Oh, but it's been out forever. It's been out now 8 years, 8 years, 9 years, 8 years
my
now. So, yeah.
goodness.
But there you've
Congratulations.
thank you. You've talked about a number of fantastic books. I wanna add one. The Power of Now is incredible. That's one of my favorites. I just love that book, but there are some fantastic ones out there, and that's such a great small piece of easy advice to follow just to get yourself on the right track, is to start to align yourself with possibility. Align yourself with positivity, Not positive in terms of everything being positive and sticking your head in the sand and saying everything's great. That's not the case. It's about understanding potentiality, because there are bad potentials in life and there are good potentials in life, and they both exist in the same possibility. So you can choose which level that you would like to live in. Focus on opportunity, focus on expansion. It happens every single time. It's manifestation, and it really does happen. But with manifestation, just to end this up, you have to do something. You can't just, it's not like The Secret to where you're like, oh, okay, I'm just going to think of empowerment. I'm going to think of law of attraction and things are going to happen to me. That is incorrect, because if you did that, or if I did that, we'd still be at the shoe store, or I'd still be working at Disneyland driving subs. So it would be the same thing. You, like you said, walk the walk. And I love that message that you had. Jane Harris, thank you so much for coming on. This has been such a
Thank you.
fantastic chat. Can you tell everybody where you're at, where you can be found, and what you have to offer, and all that fun stuff?
So I am obsessed with wigs, and you can find me on thevirginhairfantasy.com on all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, thevirginhairfantasy.com. But I do this challenge. It's a free challenge. It's once a month. It's called the Wear Your Wig Better Challenge, where I teach you how you can wear your wig better, because that's another thing. A lot of people get the wigs and it doesn't look good on them. I'm very
Right.
picky about that as well. If you're going to wear a wig, I want it to look the best on you, because instead of adding to your confidence, it could actually take away from your confidence. So we want to
Sure.
make sure we're wearing the wig the right way. So it's called the Wear Your Wig Better Challenge. It's a free challenge. You can go on our website, thevirginhairfantasy.com, to sign up. But I am a coach. I'm a teacher. I am obsessed with helping women. It's always made me happy, makes me feel good. Anywhere, whether it's a conference, I'm always trying to help women because somebody actually helped me. Yeah.
Mhm.
Tony,
I
you've been amazing. Thank you for having
I
me
love
on
it.
here.
Oh, thanks, Jane. I really appreciate it. And thanks so much for such a powerful message. And it will definitely resonate. And I will put all of that information in the show notes as well, so people will be able to,
Thank you
anyone
so
would be
much.
able
This
to
has
see it.
been
Thanks.
so much fun.
Thanks. So,
Fun.
Jane, thank you so much. And for me, of course, it's Tony at theconfidencedoc.com. It's TonyDufresne.com, but you can't spell that because half my family can't spell their own last name. So it's theconfidencedoc.com. You can go there, and that's my website. It tells you everything about me, and I'm on all the platforms. And if you have any questions in terms of getting a hold of me for earlier shows, because I have about 700 now overall, that email me and I'll let you know. So I hope things are good, and I will talk to you later.